Hello, darlings. This is a standard British accent tip for those of you actors and people just interested in learning that accent. For those of you Brits out there, yes, of course, no accent can encapsulate an entire country or indeed an entire city. This would be one sample. So, very important, there are two words commonly, frequently used that both start with C-A-N. So by virtue of those being the same letters, one would think they would be sounding similarly, and they do not sound similarly. We have can and can't, okay? Very different. They often end up sort of smooshing when people try and do this accent and can't quite remember, end up sort of smooshing together and being sort of can and can't, which is great if you're doing a transatlantic accent and you want to get sort of a can and can't sound from the 1930s or 40s. But since you're not, which is why you're at this tip and not a transatlantic one, note to do one, haha, can and can't. Okay, so for the first one, for can, notice if you're American, you'll be thinking can, so that's how you can remember is can is already back. So yes, it goes back, but instead of being in the middle, lift it up, can. In fact, do this with your hand. You'll notice I do a lot of, watch what my mouth is doing, listen, but also do this thing with your hand because it will really help. We're not used to telling the little tiny invisible muscles in our mouth what to do. Some of us are. But we are used to telling our hands to do complicated things. So this is what we want the sound to be doing. Back there. Can you hear how it ends up going a bit nasal? Different than this. This is a different kind of nasal than okay? But don't worry, I think it's a sexy kind of nasal in general with the, in England. Yes, you're welcome, England. Can, okay? Do you hear how there's a bit of an aspiration there as well? So this will be the same for and, Anthony, Andrew, all those sort of things, so can. Can you? Great. Then we have can't, okay? And this one's a bit trickier generally for Americans and other people to get because it's a long vowel, very importantly so. If you make it short, it's can't. Can't. Sounds a little bit too much like another word that you really don't want to be mistaken for having said, okay? Can't. And how we do that, imagine that your mouth is a cave and that the sort of the bottom of your mouth here do you see how it ends up creating sort of a dish to catch? So this is a visual for you. The bottom is a bit of a dish, and then imagine that the sound is coming up this part of your cave of your mouth and dripping down the stalactites of your teeth. So it's going can't, and then it's dripping down into here, can't. Okay, and that's a bit of an exaggeration going, you don't need to drop your jaw that much, can't. Okay, yes, I've just said okay many times. We'll pretend I didn't retract. So again, can't. Now you have to let the sound sort of go out there and decay. You don't intentionally change the sound. It's not can't, that's different. But it just sort of, it creates that shape and then you have to let it drip down before you stop the sound. Because again, the difference is can't. No, I can't. You won't always pronounce the T, but in general, okay? So same thing would apply then if you have a word that ends in R, the word R. I will do another tip with that because this is getting nice and juicy. But if you're extra clever, you will watch this again and pay attention to everything that I've said and repeat everything that I've said to the best of your ability. Pause and listen to how I just said everything instead of everything, etc. That's what I do. I soak up and I'm applying and I watch movies like this. So, hope you enjoyed that tip. Check out more tips and all sorts of resources, as well as private tutors. You can work with me, you can work with our team at 21accents.com. And definitely feel free to subscribe if you want more tips straight to your app at YouTube. Blessings, vibes to your optimal learning.